What I'm going to talk about here is something that men and women struggle with. But the reason I'm going to bring up the concept of men first, and I'll do another video in the future about the same condition that women struggle with, is that men often shove this off, push this away. That's not me. I'm not that. No, David, you don't understand. I'm an independent thinker. I'm an independent man. Look I'm an entrepreneur. How could I be what you're talking about? How can I be this condition you're talking about? And I want to tell you that up until around 1996, this condition handcuffed me completely. In intimate relationships is where it came out the most. Oh my God, I was a mess. And in 1997, I went into a full-blown year of training on this condition that I'm going to talk about. And it opened up a whole new world for me. The woman that took me through, I worked with her one-on-one. She was a freaking expert in the world of this condition, which I'm going to tell you about in just a second what it is. But she just rocked my world. She said, David, you're the most blank this type of a man I have ever met. And you're a counselor and you're a best-selling author. And holy cow, we got a lot of work to do. And I looked at her like she was crazy. And then she started giving me examples. And I said, oh, my God, you're so right. The condition I'm talking about that many men, if not most, suffer from, that don't want to admit it and don't get help for it, is called codependency. Let that sink in. The man that bets on games because his buddy bets on games, even though he doesn't want to waste the money, is codependent. I began my codependency at the age of 12, wanting to fit in with 16-year-olds, and the only way I could do it was to prove that I was a man by drinking a certain amount of beers on the beach whenever I was with them. And I did it. And I did it to fit in. I was codependent as hell. I also did it to escape my family because I couldn't get them and they couldn't get me at that age, you know. So, but I was codependent, and I stayed codependent for 30 years to alcohol. And it's been more than 30 years that I haven't had a drink. Incredible. Just incredible. But I was codependent as hell. What about relationships? Do you stay too long in relationships, men? That's being codependent. Do you know it's not the right person, but it's easy sex or it's whatever it might be? That's being codependent. Because if you're with a person you're really not into, all it does is create underlying chaos and drama that eventually is going to come to the surface, right? Do you buy certain sneakers or clothes because your buddies have them? When someone gets a new car in your circle, do you need to upgrade your car? See, that's all codependency. Do you argue about politics because your friends do, but behind closed doors you go, God, I don't know why I keep arguing about this? Codependency. Do you argue on social media trying to prove someone that you're right and they're wrong? Codependency. Why is it codependency? Because the odds of you proving someone on social media wrong and them saying you're right, I'm wrong, is about zero. So you're codependent. You're going after a dream that ain't ever going to get fulfilled. You're codependent in being right. You're codependent in wanting to be right. Anyone that argues on social media has a huge codependency to low self-confidence, because people with high self-confidence don't need to prove to anyone they're right. People with high self-confidence who are independent thinkers don't smoke cigars because their buddies are. I remember I did that. Oh my God. Probably 30 years ago, I was hanging out with these guys, you know, and every Friday night, it's the guys' cigar night, blah, blah, freaking blah. And I was hanging out with them, and I had refused several times. I have no interest in smoking. And finally, one time they said, oh, come on, you know, quit being a pussy. And so I broke down. That's called codependency, right? And I hated it. I hated smoking. I said, this is crazy. And I never went back. I became independent that day of that. But what about with women? Oh my God. Up until I went through the training, I was so afraid to tell them what I wanted sexually. I was so afraid to tell them that certain things that they were doing didn't really fit me or my personality. I was always that guy that wanted people to like me and wanted the woman I was with to like me. And so I wasn't honest a lot with what my needs were, or doing things that I really had no interest in doing. Now, of course, you do that in a relationship up to a degree, but I was doing it all the time. And to be honest with you, there were several times I was just saying because I really enjoyed the sex. I'm just going to be honest. I was codependent back then to being with someone because I felt like having sex, and they were very into sex. And even though our relationship wasn't that great, I never really told them I wasn't really into them. You see, that's all codependency. After 1997, my whole life completely changed. Men, You don't have to have a new car because your buddies have one. You don't have to go to a convention that you don't have the money for or a workshop because your buddies are going. You don't have to smoke a cigar because your buddies are. You don't have to have a drink because they are. You don't have to argue about politics because your buddies are. Become independent, men. Become independent. It's a lot of work, trust me. And I will work with you. I'm giving everyone right now a free 20-minute session on the phone. Go to the website, talkdavid.com or davidessel.com. The number of men that I've helped shatter codependency is massive. I have 4 major players that I'm working with right now that had no idea they've been codependent their whole freaking life. It's a sneaky, insidious addiction. Thank God I was exposed to it in the world of counseling by a woman who didn't hold back. She didn't pull any punches. She said, David, you are an outrageously codependent man in these certain areas of life, so reach out to me. The website will be below. Let's talk. Let's get real. Becoming independent is a major plus in your life, but it's going to come with a cost. The cost is worth it. It's like if you have to lose a lot of weight, the cost is worth losing the weight, because down the road, the weight is going to take you down and kill you with diseases and more. Codependency will kill you down the road. Trust me, I know it like the back of my hand. And I'm here for you. I'm David Essel. Have a beautiful day.